In 1968, the world was introduced to snack packs, arguably the best pudding ever according to, well, me. The tasty treat was originally served in single-serve aluminum cans before switching to plastic cups in 1984 and clear plastic cups in 1990. And you're probably wondering what this has to do with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. If so, you either missed all of 2023 politics or you are one of the blessed few who did not have Ron DeSantis enter your social media algorithm last year. Well, whatever the case, and since you're here, let me and my co-host Alanah infotain you with some really weird facts about the man who almost became President of the United States. Tonight on I Do Not Trust This Person, Season 2, The Weird Lives of Ron and Casey DeSantis. Hello, everybody. We're back, and we're not talking about George Santos this time, but although we will be. We could,
because
and we will.
Breaking news.
George Santos is running for Congress, so...
again.
Yeah, again.
Wait, I didn't actually read the full article.
He's running for the 2nd district.
Okay,
I think he's
so
running...
he's doing a Lauren Boebert.
He's doing a Lauren Boebert, exactly, because he was
districts.
never convicted, or he hasn't been convicted yet, so...
He's going to be.
I know, well, we'll
but
cross
you know
that.
What?
We'll cross that fucking
He's following
burning...
in Donald Trump's footsteps. I mean, look, until he gets convicted, I guess...
He could run from jail.
He could run. So.
Dude, yeah, he will run from jail. But that, like I said, we will cross that burning bridge when we come to it. Probably this summer, for sure this summer. But we are also going to be doing these in shorter formed, more focused things. Right now, we decided to get real weird and cover Ron and Casey DeSantis. Why? I know he dropped out, and that was the plan to have it out actually before he dropped out, but then he dropped out. But he's still a bad person who is still the governor of Florida, who, if Donald Trump goes to jail, will likely be the nominee because no one really seemed to like Nikki Haley. I mean, the woman lost by 30 points to uncommitted. So, yeah. And yeah, he's just he's a bad guy. And the world needs to know how bad he is. And he's also a weird guy, and that's why we called it The Weird Lives of Ron and
really,
Casey DeSantis.
That's what this is about. It's the weird. Everybody, I think, knows that he's bad because so much news comes out of Florida around, don't say gay and taking, which I mean, taking the control back of the district from Disney. That's
who cares?
That's,
that's
should
just
Disney have had a district that they controlled?
I mean,
that in the first place, but and then
that's a whole thing.
Everything around trans people and around
saying that slavery. We're going to get to all of this in the next episode.
All the things we all know that he is a terrible, terrible person.
Yeah,
but. Do you know how weird he is?
Yeah.
And if you don't, then this is going to be real eye-opening because
he's weird, and that's why this episode is titled "Ron DeSantis is really weird."
If you look at his face, you can kind of tell.
Oh yeah,
you can probably just look at a picture of him and or see a video of him talking and interacting with other human beings and realize. That's a weird guy. Yeah,
so much so, I one of the main key features of our ad for They're Not Sending Their Best, one of our other shows, is it's a spinning head of him and his weird smile. That's the first part. His smile, real weird. We're gonna get to
creepy
how
smile.
weird and what they tried to do later, but. Yeah. So subscribe to this show on America the Podcast Presents, by the way. That's what we're a part of. We're not some sort of NPR style podcast. We made that very clear. So to the lovely
we did get
reviews
some
that
comments.
we got, thank you for the reviews.
Thank you for the reviews. We did get some comments.
We're still not NPR.
We heard your feedback. We're not changing anything.
We're not changing a goddamn thing. So, yeah. Except maybe I'll let swearing happen because I don't like censorship. Really, I really don't. But that's a whole nother argument. But yeah, subscribe here. You got all of our other podcasts are linked in this show. But first question for you before we get into all of this.
Yes.
What are your personal turnoffs, whether it be for, a significant other or a friend, anything like that?
Would a pet peeve count?
Sure. Pet peeves. Generally, I don't like mean people. I think anybody who spends their days trying to bring down and belittle others
is very broad.
It's a very broad. Yeah. It's a very normal one to have, but mean people, or even pet peeves like chewing with your mouth open, or
when I was in elementary school, I think I was in 3rd grade or 4th grade, and I was at lunch, and this boy told me that I chew funny, and I was like,
you chew very normally.
I don't know how to change that. I was very confused.
Are you chewing with your mouth open, or
no? He didn't say that. No, he just said I chewed funny.
Well,
anyway, that's a side note because that you just reminded me of that. I really don't like quiet talkers.
Oh yeah,
that
the
is
low talker from Seinfeld.
Yes,
kind of a thing.
And
dude,
that episode
absolutely.
is so funny. But people who are very soft spoken.
Yeah.
Really bother me, and there's like a distrust there for me. I'm like, why are you
so quiet? Yeah, like some people are just kind of mousy. I get it, but like then there are people who just like. I'm not adding a limiter there to bring that up at all.
You're just gonna have to turn it like Seinfeld.
That is literally
Seinfeld. People who talk like this, they're like.
Oh yeah, they're trying to be
whispery and breathy.
I feel like that's almost like therapy speak in a way. Someone trying to like always try to calm you down because they think that anything over this is definitely too much. But yeah, I get that.
That's annoying.
I don't like that. Yeah.
But without a doubt, my biggest turnoff is a really jokey guy.
Oh yeah. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Like.
I'm a comedian.
No. But I'm talking about like.
I understand what you mean.
You know who I'm talking about.
I do know
the guy who's like always making a joke to everybody.
Yes,
like
the Chandler Bing kind of, but over the more than
kind
that.
of, but even more so. Yeah. Like making a comment to everybody. The server coming to your table, like making a joke.
Dude,
that person
cannot stand when people make comments on my food.
A guy.
Oh my God,
it's specifically always usually a white kind of
white
bigger.
Guy.
Usually like a bigger white guy.
Well, very tall. It's a tall or bigger tall.
American. It's all like very, it's a very specific person. And I feel like you all probably have someone, and some people like that type of person.
Sure.
I do not.
They're friendly.
Sure. I guess that's how you would describe them, but it is in such an obnoxious way. I'm going to talk about this for a while. Sure. It's very obnoxious, and it is like, look at me, I'm making a joke and I'm making a comment. Please laugh. Yeah. Right? Like I need a laugh, and I need validation. I need the validation that what I'm doing is funny, but it's not. And I purposely will not laugh because I will not give you that validation. But that, without a doubt, that's my most frustrating thing is like, everything is just, I'm at the restaurant, the server comes over, I'm going to make a joke. And then I'm like everything to everybody. I'm getting irritated as I think about this.
Triggered something in Alanah. Well, what about like gross eaters? Like that would be an instant turn off just of like, or would you try and correct it? If it was a friend, I would say, dude, please stop. But
there's a thing recently post-COVID that I've started noticing when people lick their fingers.
Oh yeah.
I know that we all do that, right? But like
I did that a lot with barbecue, and now no, but after in chips.
That's
but now
the thing
after
that
COVID,
I noticed.
No,
so
I noticed it stopped. It's
at
gross.
Work at my office, there are chips like as a snack, right? And so there's like like all the chips that leave all the residue on your fingers, right? Yeah. So I noticed that people will eat those chips and then they'll lick the residue off their fingers, which if you think about it, it's probably something you've done a million times.
No one cared. No one gave any thought.
There's something about seeing that, which is very
real life
not
post-COVID,
pleasant. Yeah. And then also the fact post-COVID that you just think about, did you wash your hands before you ate that bag of chips? Yeah. Probably not.
Probably not.
So that recently, yes, that's top of mind for me. Yeah. Not pleasant.
Well, I asked because our once and never future president, Ron DeSantis, who will never be the president, but, still dangerous.
Is Ron his full name?
Ronald DeSantis.
Oh, so it is Ronald.
I think it's Ronald.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't even bother to look that up. He's not worth looking it up, but I'm 90% for sure it's Ronald. But no, the man, and this is one of those. It's validated.
Alleged.
It's kind of alleged, but it's also definitely not alleged. Because when more than one aide says it's the case, then I would.
But you can also totally see it happening.
I can also totally see it happening.
You gotta think it's real.
Pudding with his fingers. like a child. If a kid does it, I would say correct it. But like he's been seen, with a snack pack. Shout out to the best pudding on the planet, and just dipping those two big ass fingers of his like deep in the pudding and lobbing it into his mouth. I hope I really brought a good picture for you, audience, because that's the man you guys almost made president, and that all of Florida made governor. So
I mean, I don't think the people listening to this almost made him president.
No, definitely not. Yeah, definitely
another
not.
subsection of
not,
the country.
Not this voter, but like, God, you all know some people. I know some people. They're not sending their best.
So the report, which was released by the Daily Beast, says that he ate chocolate pudding by shoveling the messy dessert into his mouth with 3 fingers.
3 fingers. Oh, wow.
While on a private jet in 2019.
Oh, wow. God grief. So he got like, that's like a whole snack pack's worth of fingers, right?
I mean,
like
that's 3 fingers. You can
get the whole
pudding. The whole thing on there. I mean, my
God.
God.
So gross. Oh my goodness gracious.
And then the best part, I think, is that people have now started calling him
Pudding Fingers Ron.
Pudding Fingers.
Yeah. I think Trump might have done that one. That was along with the meatball one. The meatball one was because he looks like a meatball. Trump says it wasn't Italiophobic because Ron's Italian, but like it's because his face is red like a meatball, which I mean, I still stand by it. But yeah, the
Pudding Fingers is
the
really
Pudding
funny.
Fingers Ron, like, oh yeah, and then immediately that was the best part, and I can't really cut it in because this visual medium for this. Trump released a political ad while Ron was still running for president, and it talks about the pudding fingers thing and shows a guy, like a bunch of people dipping their fingers in pudding.
Oh my God.
It is hilarious. Like it's the only props I will ever give to Donald J. Trump. That like almost broke me.
DeSantis has his dirty fingers all over senior entitlements, like cutting Medicare, slashing Social Security, even raising our retirement age. Tell Ron DeSantis to keep his pudding fingers off our money. Oh, and somebody get this man a spoon.
This is hilarious though, because, and this article from Business Insider is old when he was still in the election or in the campaign. But the like highlight at the very top of the article, just giving you a summary, says, point 1, Ron DeSantis is struggling in the polls. He's trying to reboot his campaign to regain momentum. People yelling pudding fingers at him isn't helping.
It's not helping, yeah. Dude. Well, then articles like this next part too, who is this one from? This is from, the article's not coming up. It's from Slate. Why does Ron DeSantis's smile make so many people want to jump off a cliff? Like, damn, these writers, like snarky ass people. But for real though, there was a rumor, and this is also one of these. A few of these things we'll talk about are alleged because they, no aide who wants to keep their job is really going to go on record for any of this. So these things you kind of just have to take in the rumor mill of being mostly ish true. But he had to have someone teach him how to smile better. And that's why his smile just keeps getting more and more awkward. That he's gotten so much feedback that they brought in a coach.
So funny.
That's what I heard through like all of the people I know and through a lot of different media outlets had said the same thing. So I'm going to go with true or just, this is a world of fake news and assumed facts. So why not? You can definitely see that having to be true because his smile is so weird.
It's so weird.
It's so weird. Like go to, if you're on any of our TikTok or pages, they have the American Conversation page, they're not sending their best ad. You can see Ron's little spinning head, and it's my favorite thing in the world. If I could have it as a screensaver, I would. You know what? I can, and I'm gonna make it.
Back to the pudding fingers piece.
Sure.
What is funny is that like it got to the point, that story got so well known that he literally was disrupted at a campaign event
in Iowa. That's right.
Of protesters yelling pudding fingers at him. So this wasn't some fringe thing. This was reported on by multiple outlets.
Greeted by the pudding fingers. Yeah, like it just keeps happening. And like so the next part, and this is
so that is disgusting. And let me turn the tables around so that you can take a moment now and talk about how you would feel, because I know how you feel about things on your hands.
Oh, Lord.
How you would feel if you were to scoop some pudding out, lick it off your hand, and then how would that hand feel for you?
It would feel like slimy, like you've got like it feels like a film on my hands. Like I discovered I hated it when I was making coffee in college for a coffee shop and get espresso on my hands and God, yeah, just grounds. It was gross. And then ever since then, it's just kind of been a thing where I just don't like anything on my hands. And
so now, how do you feel with the film of it's just sticky?
Stickiness. Oh Lord. If my hands are sticky, I'm going crazy the entire time until I find anything. I have to find a sink. I'll find a hose. I'll find an open tap in the city. I don't give a shit. Do you feel
gross right now?
Yeah, I feel gross talking. Yeah. Like I hope the audience feels gross because again, he almost became president, man. And he could still. That's the scary part. Like I said, according to like at least NPR, I don't have this article on me, but his poll numbers are looking, real nice because he's technically just suspended his campaign, so he can unsuspend at the drop of a hat, like anytime he wants. And if Trump is randomly convicted, it won't happen. Trump will be the nominee. I'm just saying there is still that risk. And Ron DeSantis is just not only weird, but kind of a dangerous person. But I also don't think he'll ever be president, even if he were to go up against Biden, because as we're going to hear in this next clip, this is really what brought Ron DeSantis down.
The boots were his Waterloo. Yeah, it was
exactly.
Like it's when it was over. Mm-hmm. Like when the boots happened, I knew like there's no chance Ron DeSantis will even be second place.
Listen, I have worn cowboy boots my whole life, and there are no toes at the front of those boots. Like I'm telling you, and multiple shoe experts have already said, you're curling up, and not in the way those fun curly boots like in Mexico they have. The kind of
but the reason they curl up is because there's they curl up for the same reason. There's no toes in there. Like they're designed to do that though. Like they're designed as an aesthetic.
These are regular cowboy boots that he is like, I'm doing this wrong. There's no foot in there. Like
he's just walking on heels. Yeah, which I've done several times for fun and for production.
Sure.
But yeah, like walking in heels
I'll never get over the jokes of like, watch this anti-trans guy get makeup on while he's like wearing high heels.
They're not sending their best.
That was it. The boots, man. The boots, they were made for walking. And man, why did he have to wear lifts? I mean, it's still, again, unconfirmed, but when there were three different shoe experts that analyzed his feet, saying absolutely the shoes are absolutely weird. If you had watched our show, we compared them to or I showed a picture of the boots, the Mexican style curvy boots. That's kind of what they looked like because they were curling up at the toe.
Okay, first of all, can I say, and maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe can you?
Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe.
I'm probably wrong. Do people in Florida wear cowboy boots?
Yeah, people in Florida wear boots, like gator wrestlers and stuff. Gator wrestlers, that's ridiculous. But no, people in the South wear boots in general. Like, and sure, and that's the thing. Yes, there you can find people in Florida that wear boots. He's from the South in general.
Maybe in like the
Panhandle area or the
Floribama area.
Floribama in Alabama, in Georgia, in Texas. It doesn't matter. In the South, we sometimes wear boots. I've worn boots plenty of times in my life, and I can absolutely tell you emphatically.
Okay, but cowboy boots are a different thing.
Those were cowboy boots, though.
I know that we will talk about the lifts because that is just
the
insane.
Lifts, which is why his boots were curved.
But does he have to wear cowboy boots generally?
So this is a whole thing that politicians do where they try and be more folksy, where they try and be less elitist, because he's a JAG lawyer for the Navy. He's a governor. He's wealthy. He's an elitist who went to Harvard. All these people who try and be like Ted Cruz, like 100%. I'm a man of the people. Look at me in my cowboy boots, lifting a bale of hay like Ronald Reagan. Like you all went to Harvard and Yale and Princeton. Like there's only one president who did that I can remember, at least off the top of my head, who did not go to an Ivy League school, and that was LBJ, who went to A&M. Like that's it. Like,
and he was problematic.
And he signed the Civil Rights Act, so he did do that. More than Ron DeSantis would ever have done.
Everybody is mixed.
Everybody's mixed.
So back to the fact that he is 100% wearing lifts.
Wearing lifts, dude. Okay, so apparently there was one photo.
No one can convince me otherwise.
Someone told me, and I've yet to look up. Can you look up how tall Chris Christie is real quick? Nikki Haley on stage is wearing heels. Ron DeSantis is wearing his boots. Chris Christie is standing next to Nikki Haley, who's a little bit taller than him in this picture because of her heels. How tall is Chris Christie?
Christie is 5'11".
He's okay. And Ron
Nikki
DeSantis.
Haley is 5'6".
But Ron isn't he supposed to be 5'9"?
Probably nobody knows
and
because of his...
I don't think I think his Wikipedia page is edited because I have heard that he is around 5'9", 5'10". He's supposed to be, or at least the same height as Chris Christie. Maybe that's what it was. I forgot to look up his height. But he is towering over both of them.
There is no
height listed? No.
Official height anywhere.
Okay, so there it is.
When you Google Ron DeSantis height, the only thing that comes up is his... is this article, and it literally talks about how the governor is anywhere from 5'8" to 5'11", which he claims.
Yeah, and I've heard he's 5'8". That was one thing I heard. I was like, no way is that guy 5'8". He looks pretty decently tall. But regardless, even if he is 5'11", he is still towering over Chris Christie and Nikki Haley in that photo of him on the stage at the first debate. That's when it was.
Well, Nikki Haley is 5'6", so let's say that she's wearing 3-inch heels, probably.
Probably, yeah.
That's probably reasonable to say. So she would be 5'9".
Yeah, but still towering over Chris.
And Chris is 5'11". So he should be, if this article, I mean, if he is 5'9", which that is just so crazy that you don't
that should be a public record.
Height.
That should be public record. We know how Donald Trump's tall as shit too.
Here's a random thing that just came out on up on I was going to say X, and then I was like, do I want to say Twitter? But it's whatever.
It's Twitter.
My friend who went to Harvard Law with Ron DeSantis says he's about 5'7" or 8" is what
wonderful.
This random
That's
thing
hilarious.
that I just read says. So,
and it's not, it's, I understand people like tall politicians and stuff, but like to be that insecure to wear boots like that, like, I mean... how tall? George Bush wasn't that tall. George Bush was like 5'10" or something like that. It doesn't matter. We could talk about his boots all day. The media definitely did all summer. But because of those boots, that's why I think he will never be president. Like he just simply, and that will be pretty much my final argument in this entire series, is that no one will get over the pudding fingers thing and no one will get past the boots thing. If he ever runs again, they're going to no amount of PR can fix this. Like he's done.
Now I'm going down a rabbit hole.
Not with Florida still loves him.
The American public apparently loves a tall president. A president. So the average American is 5'9". Average American man is 5'9".
Really? Wow.
A shorter than average president has not been elected since William McKinley won the election in 1896.
Oh shit! I didn't
so all of the former presidents, including Bush, have been tall.
Yeah.
W was 6 feet.
Oh, okay.
HW was 6'2". He was tall.
He is a really
Obama's
really
6'2". I didn't realize it. Well,
Trump's
Michelle
6'3",
is tall too.
Yeah.
But no.
Biden's
so
like
there's
6'2".
a photo. And I'm reading an article from The Independent, and it's the photo that they have on here is the cover of the New York Post. About a year ago, March of last year, where DeSantis had an interview with Piers Morgan, and Piers Morgan is 6 feet tall, and he's like just pretty much an inch shorter, maybe.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. He's clearly an inch shorter than Piers Morgan. And
but
I can see that from here, and I'm across the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was on your phone. Yeah. Okay. Ron DeSantis is visibly shorter on a phone screen from across a room, y'all. So whatever. This is silly, dumb, making fun of him stuff. Now, this is the last thing that we're going to get to before we get out of here. And this is one of the weirder things that which is why I kind of wanted to talk about one. Which one?
The one you're about to talk about.
Oh, the one. Oh, yeah. And this is why I wanted to ask what your turnoffs really were. It wasn't just because of the pudding fingers. So
being corrected by a man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
I'm
this
walking
was
away.
Brought out by John Oliver, and we're not going to play that because I don't want to get the wrath of HBO. They've got enough to deal with John Oliver trying to bribe a Supreme Court justice, and that is hilarious. Good luck, John. But this is also it was in a book, I believe, and that I don't remember the exact clip. I should have looked at it before we came on here, but. Basically, the story goes that when Ron DeSantis would go out on a date, he would take a woman out for Thai food. But when he asked to go out for Thai food, he would say, let's go out for Thai food. As you know, Thai food is spelled Thai, correct? That's, yes. So, and if the woman corrected him, he would end the date. Or if it was out on the date, what's your favorite food? He would say Thai food. And if she corrected him, he would get up, go to the bathroom, and leave. And then so Casey apparently definitely didn't correct him. She just now to this day pronounces Thai food. One has to assume, right? Like the First Lady of Florida pronounces Thai food simply to appease her husband. That we have to assume that as a fact because
this is so crazy
it's
to
so
me.
Weird. Like, and what a weird and douchebaggery thing to do.
It is so telling, though. It's very revealing because
of a man who would wear lifts in his boots because he feels small and doesn't want to be overpowered by a woman.
It's all connected. Yeah. Like it all makes sense.
It's hilarious.
That he would, he doesn't want to be corrected
at all. It's so crazy.
Especially by a woman
or the Florida populace, but definitely not a woman.
So that is
exhausting.
It's not that surprising because I do think that it's like, of course he would do something like this. You can kind of, again, it's just, you can tell.
Yeah.
Like he's a weirdo and he has so many like, he's short, so that clearly bothers him and gives him some sense of like insecurity. I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff just like Trump with his dad, some probably dad issues.
I don't know. And we're going to have some guests on the last episode who might be able to clear that up. And they might even be listening to this before they know that they're going to be guests. But
there has to be a bunch of other stuff in his background, just weird shit that I don't know.
Yeah. So
I don't like him.
And we're going to get into even more reasons not to like him. Not just because of his weird little quirks and that I would say it's a borderline sexist thing to do to try to pronounce a Thai food or that's just not even a sexist thing, just a dumb thing to try and test people with. You're like, are you really that insecure? Oh my God.
Yeah,
he is that insecure.
He is, absolutely.
You can see it in his face. And anytime you hear him talk and like, we'll get to it in the next episode of him.
There's that clip of him
with the students. Is that what you were saying?
No, where he was in. He was overseas. Was he in Korea or he was in Japan?
He was in Japan trying to win people over. Yeah, this works as Ron being weird. He was trying to have Japan build a business relationship with Japan. Like governors go overseas to other countries, do this all the time. It's pretty normal. And the Japanese press asked him, "Are you going to be running for president?" And he said something, and I'll put in the clip right here.
Governor, a poll show you falling behind Trump. Any thoughts on that?
I'm not a candidate, so we'll see if and when that changes. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So yeah, disrespectful, I would say, in the tone. I would go look up the clip yourself. It's more of his face that you're really looking at here. So yeah, weird face, weird guy, weird smile, weird tics, and also he's kind of a jerk. And that's the next episode.
He's 100%.
He's a weird
asshole.
Jerk. He's an asshole. Like, and I can't put asshole in the title, so we're calling the next episode Ron DeSantis is kind of a jerk.
Okay. I'll wait. I'll save my opinions on that.
Save your opinions to that because
episode.
There's some things you haven't heard yet that are the next episode might bum you out a little bit. But
the bottom line is for him to purposely mispronounce something so that honestly it's kind of good that he did that because he saved some poor woman from
tons. Well, probably not that many women because how often could he be getting dates? Not to be that guy.
Well, I don't know. Apparently he was the captain of his baseball team.
Oh well, yeah, baseball's people like it. It's America's pastime.
Sure. At Yale. So he went to Yale as well.
Did
he go to Yale or Harvard?
He went to Harvard. I know he went to Harvard Law. If people bounce around those colleges.
He was the captain of his baseball team at Yale. So he probably, as like a jock lawyer, blah, blah, probably got a good amount of dates. And he saved a lot of women from a lot of trouble who would have found out. Because I feel like a lot of men play nice during the dating and then just flip after marriage. And then it's controlling.
Oh, yeah.
But
they don't show themselves.
He just decided to go ahead and show himself from the first. So you know what? Good job.
Yeah, you heard it first here, everybody, from Alanah, that Ron DeSantis is pro-woman and an ally to all women everywhere. Ron DeSantis is an ally to women. That's what we got out of this episode. So thanks for listening. We'll be back in 2 weeks. And don't vote for Ron DeSantis again.
You've been listening to I Do Not Trust This Person, Season 2, The Weird Lives of Ron and Casey DeSantis. The show is hosted by Alanah Matos and Tim Philippi. For a full list of news sources and music in this episode, please refer to the show notes. This episode was mixed and edited by Tim Philippi at Shway Media Studios in Austin, Texas. Executive producers for the show are Alanah Matos, Tim Philippi, and Andrew Turner. I Do Not Trust This Person was created by Tim Philippi and is a production of Shway Media and America the Podcast Presents. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com and americathepodcastpresents.com. Copyright 2024, all rights reserved.
This has been a production of Shway Media, all rights reserved. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com.